Hello and welcome back to another episode of the Schmid podcast. I'm your host Caroline, and today I'm going to share a story with you that I first was kind of embarrassed and now I'm very proud of myself. This story revolves about me losing my wedding ring 2 days ago.
Welcome to the Caroline Schmid podcast. I'm your host Caroline, and this is the stripped naked version of my life. This podcast is here to inspire, to support you, and to learn together. On here, I share my raw stories of my life, my wins and failures, all about energy healing, spirituality, and consciousness, and most importantly, on how to better your mental health. I hope you enjoy, and let's get into it.
The moment I lost my wedding ring, and this was 2 days ago, my husband and I went for a date. We went into the mountains and we just finished up our nap. We literally took a nap after our lunch in the mountains, and we laid in the sun and just enjoyed some time off of being parents. And we decided to get back home. We took I don't know, it was not even 20 steps and I lost my wedding ring. And I'm usually wearing it on my pinky right now because we got married before my second pregnancy and it fit onto this finger. But now because of weight gain, it doesn't fit anymore, so I'm wearing it on my pinky. And now as I'm on my weight loss, wellness, coming back to myself journey, it's going down the size of my fingers, of course, and also because it was quite cold. As you know, when your hands are cold, your fingers shrink in size, and it just flew off basically. So we were on this mountain hill, and the first thing that happened was that I asked myself, why is this happening? And I'm like, okay, maybe we need to spend some time or more time in nature than we wanted to, because as I said, we were heading home. And then after we were searching for some time, I don't know, 10 minutes or so, I got fed up because I knew that this situation is trying to teach me something. So I got quiet and I started to speak with the land. So the first thing I did is that I acknowledged the genie of the place, which I usually do, but this day I forgot. Every time, usually I go into the forest or I go to a lake, I go to a new place in nature, I always acknowledge the genie of the place, or before I go swimming, because I'm entering an energetical space or a new energetical space in nature. And I proposed to the genie of the place that I'm going to pick up all the trash that I see in exchange of the genie of the place giving me back my ring. And I knew that the genie of the place does not come to me in person and gives me my ring back like this, but I knew that we're going to find it very, very quickly when I start doing this exchange, basically, because I wanted to find my ring in the energetical space of the genie of the place. Okay, so basically I wanted something from the land, so I offered my service of picking up any trash I see at the place we were looking for the ring and on the way back, in exchange for giving me back my ring. Okay, so I did that and I kept searching for my ring. My husband did the same, and I started to collect the trash I was just seeing in the mud. And after some time I was like, okay, we still haven't find the ring that we're looking for. And I'm like, okay, Caroline, this can't be that it was 22 minutes in the search. It can't be that you have such diverse and intensive spiritual training behind you. You have all of this knowledge and wisdom on how to communicate with the land. You have your intuition. Why don't you use these practices to find it? Because I have the tools, so I don't need to look for, and I don't want to sound offensive, but you do not need to look for your wedding ring like a normal person if you have all these tools that you learned. And I'm like, okay, what tools do I know? And now I want you to write that down. So the first one was that I offered my service in exchange for something, okay? So I offered to pick up the trash that I see on the land. The second one is that I did the quantum set solution, okay? That means that you take your both hands, and I always imagine my current situation in my left hand. So I basically create an energy field, and I say on this hand, basically like, I don't know what I have a mirror here. On this hand is my current self, my current situation of me not having my wedding ring. And on this hand, on my right hand, is my ideal situation, my ideal reality that I want to manifest. So I imagined myself walking down the mountain basically with my husband wearing my wedding ring. So my current situation, my ideal situation. I created these energy fields in my hand. Okay? And now what I did is that I connected my current reality with my ideal reality, okay? And said, connect, integrate, activate, unpack now. And you can do this, that like they touch it, your hands touch themselves. And you can do basically this hand movement, it doesn't have to, but at the end, I always put my hands together as if I'm collapsing these two energy fields into one, and then I'm finished, okay? So connect. I want to connect both realities. I want to integrate my ideal reality into my current, okay? Connect, integrate. Then I want to activate it, okay? Because right now in your energy field, you have so many information, but not all of them are activated. So you want to have these information activated. So connect, integrate, activate, and you want to unpack them now. You don't want to have the reality in 2 weeks or in 20 years. You want to have it right now. So I did that as my second practice. And as my third practice, I did the spin technique. You can learn how to do the spin yourself in my latest episode. And this just like hit things off because I finished those 3 practices. I kept on searching, okay? But I was more looking for trash than my wedding ring, to be honest. And I finished it. I half crawled, half walked back onto our path that we were walking down from the restaurant. And my husband starts laughing and he's like, I got it. And this was not, I'm not even kidding, 1 or 2 minutes after I finished these 3 practices. And on the way back, I kept on picking up the trash. I kept on picking up the trash because I have made a promise to the genie of the land that in exchange for my wedding ring getting it back, I am going to pick up the trash. Okay, but you can use these 3 practices in any scenario. You have the spin, okay, which you learned or you're going to learn in the latest episode, okay? I do this all the freaking time. These 2 other practices I practice less. But as you saw in this scenario, it helped me tremendously. And then I think it took like 25 minutes of searching for my wedding ring. But basically, I believe strongly, if I would have done those practices earlier, we would have found the ring also much quicker. So using this quantum set solution is worth gold. And I learned that from Dr. Jean Ang. I have learned so many amazing things that are so close to, like, you can use them in your real life. It's not only theory, like you can use them in your daily life and benefit from it, as me finding my wedding ring. So if you have an ideal reality that you would like to manifest and you have your current self, you do the quantum set solution and it will happen much faster than if you would not have done the practice. And the third practice, or more or less the first that I did in the mountains 2 days ago, is to ask something for an exchange. Okay, so you're communicating with the land, the genie of the place, I call it. So you give a service as an exchange for what you want. Okay, for example, if you're hosting a retreat somewhere in nature, you not only acknowledge the genie of the place, but because you are hosting your retreat in that energetical space of that genie, you should be giving that genie of the place something in return. It can be an offering, it can be, as I did, picking up the trash, or whatever comes to you. Basically, you can also do healing, offer healing to the genie of the place. So I think it's really important that in our spiritual practice, we not only do the healing and do our practices, but that we work together with the land, because the genie of the place is so much more powerful than you. Like, nature will teach you. And I think working together with nature is going to help you tremendously, and nature, so the genie of the place. So it's a win-win situation, and not only a take. Okay, you want to give back in return, so that the genie of the place will nurture you back. Okay, so it's really about keeping up that energetical cycle of receiving and giving, or letting go of receiving and giving. I hope you enjoyed today's episode. It will mean the world to me if you give the podcast a 5-star rating on Spotify, give it a like, and follow us on Spotify and on YouTube. Thank you for watching or listening, and see you very soon.